Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast, where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Baltazar.
And today, we're going to be doing our weekly recap. We don't have any recruiting to cover, and it's honestly probably going to be a pretty short episode, because all we have to cover is one men's catsketball game, one women's catsketball game, and then a bit of big news in regards to the women's catsketball team.
Yeah, because we don't normally cover the weekend's games early, but we just had two very important events this weekend that we just kind of felt like we needed to cover while they were still fresh in people's minds. I mean, the KU game and then doing Aoka things. We felt like that was pertinent. But so that does leave us with a shorter episode today, but there is still some important stuff to go over.
Yeah, because we had to talk about one of the biggest tragedies since either of us have been here, followed by one of the greatest triumphs since either of us have been here.
Yeah, the historic ups and downs of the K-State basketball teams this year. So,
or as we call it, unlucky, could have happened to anybody.
Or lucky, couldn't have happened to anybody.
True.
Because Aoka is a god.
True. So. But anyway, no recruiting news like we just said, so let's just dive right in to men's catsketball. And one of the most predictable outcomes that I think you and I actually may have predicted that not the score, but the outcome in the preview episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a loss against the Baylor Bears in Waco, Texas, 74-49, in a game that was never close. And in fact, the most notable thing that happened was two very strange technical fouls.
Yeah.
For once for a dude patting his hair and the other for a dude pointing?
No, the first one was against Selton. Saying that he was pointing is honestly generous to the officials, because like the highlight that I saw was Selton looked at someone. He didn't even say anything, from what you could tell. And then the other that was Selton Miguel. He put Jonathan Chamba Chachua on a poster. And I am so happy I got that right. And then Matthew Mayer, a couple minutes later maybe, he went down and got a big dunk as well. And he did like the whole like pat your head thing, like dunk on his head or whatever. And but he wasn't looking at anybody in particular. He kind of didn't really dunk on anybody either, so it wasn't even pertinent. Like, it was just a nice dunk. And those were both teed up like. If for once unified two rival fan bases in the idiocy of the Big 12 officials. Because, I mean, it was inexplicable. It was stupid.
And both of those got teched up, but Bill Self during the KU game didn't.
Right, yeah. Bill Self did way more during the KU game to get teed up. And even then, most coaches aren't going to get teed up in that situation. But, he did a lot more than either Selton or Matthew Mayer of Baylor did to deserve that. And, I feel bad for Selton and Mayer of Baylor because, if you can't, pat your head or jog down the floor, what can you do after?
You have to teleport.
Yeah, you have to teleport, and you have to let the other team score. Not to get all old head and stuff, but it was pretty silly.
Old.
Please don't. But it was pretty rough to watch. I thought it was silly. I thought it was overkill. I get that they're trying to get excessive stuff out of the game, but that was the definition of not excessive. Yeah, and also, you know what? Let people celebrate. Let people celebrate. I think that's a simple answer to it. Let people celebrate.
Yeah, that's the most simple answer. It's also the answer that happens to make the most sense.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Let athletes be in their zone.
Yeah, let athletes enjoy their success.
No.
They don't have to be stoic on the court. They should be able to enjoy the things they do. That goes for K-State and for Baylor. Matthew Mayer should be able to do a light celebration if he wants, which he should probably be able to do a little bit more than that. But
I draw the line at fireworks cannons, but
yeah,
this
yeah, what's up with that?
What is this even?
I don't. For those listening to audio, we are patting our heads.
I didn't think about that.
I did not think about it until the third time I did it. I was like, when I say this, people are listening. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I might be stupid.
You know what? We're all stupid. Deep down. Sometimes it's even surface level like me. But yeah, the Cats, they did blow this game. I say blow as if they ever had a chance.
Yeah, no.
But no, they got destroyed in this game. However, silver lining, this game was almost half as close as it was last year. Because last year we lost by 48 in Waco, and this year we only lost by 25. So next year we're probably going to lose by 12, 13. The next year, 6. Then all of a sudden,
we're logarithmic?
Right, yeah.
Is this logarithmic, so we're never going to win?
I'm a political science major. I don't know what that means.
It means that it will never reach 100 nor 0.
Correct.
So we'll never win.
We will never win, but it will get more respectable every year. We will eventually lose by like 0.00001. And Bruce will be like, man, we really tried. And I'll be like, honestly, yeah, you did. I don't know what else to tell you.
Shame.
Yeah, it could happen
to anybody.
Could happen to anybody, honestly. But, I mean...
You got stats.
Yeah, I'll get into stats here. There's not a ton to write home about. Nigel, coming off of his 35-point performance, he had 13 on 4-12 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 4 on the free throw line, 2 rebounds and assists, no turnovers and a steal. Marquise had 11 points, 4 assists, 3 turnovers with a steal and a rebound, 5 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, missed 2 free throw attempts. Other than that, nobody else touched double figures. No one really got close. Mark Smith had 6 points on 2 of 11 from the field. His cold streak continues. He had 6 rebounds. 1 turnover, no assists, nothing else. Ish Masood, he made a 3 for the first basket of the game and never scored again. And he went 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 1 foul. Did not do a whole lot offensively. Selton, 2 points. He made an impact with those 2 points. He not only...
he got teed up for his 2 points.
He posterized someone on Baylor, totally embarrassed them. And then he also got a technical foul. He had 4 rebounds. No assists, no turnovers. He had a steal. Uneventful day. Mike McGurl, he had 6 points, 3 of 9 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, and 3 steals. Kind of stuffed the stat sheet here, honestly, but really inefficient offensively. In 27 minutes, you got to do more than that as a senior. Casey, he somehow managed to put in 19 minutes. Good for him. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 foul, 1 turnover. No longer good for him. 1 of 2 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line. So he improved that free throw stat line from the KU game where he went 1 of 6, but still 50%. You got to do better. But 19 minutes from Casey. Based on what we've seen recently, it's better.
Yeah, he may end up being the main big.
Yeah, the way Davion has been playing, I think you have to say that. I mean, Davion got 6 minutes.
That or we'll just keep playing small ball.
I guess. Honestly, might as well just play small ball. Just like throw Ish in there. Like Davion, he had 6 minutes, only 6 minutes, which is just crazy. He had 2 points, 1 of 1 from the field with a rebound, 2 fouls, 4 turnovers, and no assists, no blocks, no steals. Really rough stat line from Davion, who he has really struggled recently. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it's been really rough watching him regress the way that he has. Because we've seen the talent that he had last year. Last year he averaged somewhere in the 8.5 and 5.5 points rebounds range for Big 12 play, and we have just not seen that this year. He is completely
gone.
Yeah, he's gone away from that. And Lucas Subke, he played 14 minutes, had 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 foul, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 of 2 from the field, and his 1 rebound was offensive. So did a little bit of everything in 14 minutes. Kind of a Lucas Subke stat line there, like mainly there to play defense, take open shots, distribute when needed, take care of the ball. He didn't do a ton of stuff. Carlton Lingard, he did not take a shot. He had more minutes than Davion by 1. He had 7 minutes, did not take a shot. He had 1 rebound and 2 fouls, and that was it for Carlton Lingard statistically. Then Drew Honus and Jordan Brooks, the walk-ons, got in at the tail end of the game. They list them as having 0+ minutes. Okay. And
0 plus what?
I don't know.
Like 10 seconds?
I guess. But that brings the statistics, the individual ones, to a close. 31% from the field, 21% from 3, 46% of the free throw line. Yikes. 1 of 5 from the free throw line in the second half. I mean, that's just really tough. Like, that's horrible to look at. I mean, and even then, if you shoot 100% from the free throw line, it doesn't change it that much. I mean, that puts us at 56, so lose by 18. Like, I mean, when you shoot 31.7% from the field, 21.7% from three, and shoot 46% from the free throw line, you're going to lose almost every single game that you play. And
so.
there's no way around it. Once again, we have another game where Nigel Pack and Marquise Noel are the only semblance of offense on the entire floor for K-State. Noel, the only player with more than 2 assists. Marquise and Nigel, the only players in double figures. I mean, this team is just completely offensively inept. I mean, they scored 49 points in a regulation basketball game. Granted, it is Baylor. Baylor has just been incredible the last few years.
Didn't we nearly drop that in the first half against KU?
We did. We scored 50 in the first half against KU. And we didn't even score that in the full game against Baylor. Granted, Baylor's probably the best defensive team in the Big 12, whereas KU is statistically the worst defensive team in the Big 12, but it should not be this big of a disparity.
No, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's not that bad.
Like,
it's not that bad.
Baylor's side of the coin, they shot 57% from the field, 33.3% from three, made 64% from the free throw line. They had 4 players in double figures, that being LJ Cryer, Adam Flagler, Kendall Brown, and Jonathan Chachua. I mean, very little dude. I mean, when you have a guy named Flo Thamba on your team, you're kind of screwed, honestly.
Yeah, what can you do?
Jonathan Chachua, he had a double-double. He had 12 rebounds as well. As did Kendall Brown, he had 11 rebounds. And this is all without one of their better players, James Akinjo, who's leading the Big 12 in assists per game, just ahead of Marquise Noel. So, I mean, as we know, this is a great Baylor team. They won the national championship last year. They may not be as absolutely absurdly dominant as they were last year, but this is still, I would say, the favorite to win the conference because they are just a sensational. They are a sensational basketball team, and Scott Drew is a sensational coach. Pains me to say because I hate Baylor and everything that institution stands for, but there's an excellent basketball team. There's no way around it. Regardless, keep it within 20. Score more than 50. Like, come on. Like, after the game, Nigel, he was interviewed. He talked about it being an emotional letdown, or how they were completely drained after the KU game. And it's, well, A, that's probably true. B, don't say that. And,
yeah, like maybe that's like the last thing you say.
Yeah, like I do think that's probably the truth, but I also think that's just something that you shouldn't say in the interview room. I'm not going to harp on him too much for it because, like,
it's like he probably just wasn't.
Yeah, and
why would you?
Yeah, despite him,
not a liar.
Yeah, it is not a lie. Like, I think he's telling the truth.
Like, can you blame him?
No, I don't. I don't blame him.
Like, you can't blame him for feeling that, but I guess you could kind of liken it to Kleiman earlier in the year, calling for positivity. It's like you can't blame him for what he's saying, but it's just like
it's like he's not necessarily wrong, but it's just not the sort of thing that you should say. It's not as bad as what Kleiman said, I don't think. Because, I mean, like, I think that's very relatable. Like, I think that's something that happens in basketball a lot anyways. Like, lose a heartbreaker, and then the next game after, like, you're either, depending on the game, you're either just going to come out angry or you're just going to be really flat. And
I'll let you take a guess which one happened.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But the Cats, they drop a really tough one in Waco. With some sketchy officials that have a quick whistle on technical fouls. Rebounding stats. I was just curious about
in the West.
I was just curious about this rebounding. Cats did lose the rebounding battle. It was closer, but I mean that doesn't say much after last week. Baylor had 39 total rebounds. K-State had 28. Although K-State actually did have the advantage in offensive rebounds. They had 16 compared to 11 for Baylor. Which is really weird that 16 of our 28 rebounds were offensive. I think a lot of that has to do with A, we suck at defensive rebounding, and B, Baylor shot 57% from the field. So there weren't a lot of opportunities to rebound the ball. So there's that. That and our bigs just haven't rebounded well this year, period.
No.
Like combined, I'm just going to go through here, tally this up really quick. Casey had 2 defensive rebounds. Carlton had 1. Ish had 0. Davion had 0. That's it. All of our defensive rebounds were guards, with the exception of Casey getting 2, which is sad.
Pain.
Yeah. Pain. This is the sort of team where I think we're going to look back on them and say, if this was a team with a functional average, I was going to say post player. An average post player. I mean, yes. But like you're not wrong. There's a lot of things you could plug into that sentence. But
plug in X.
Plug in X. I think you have this team an average post player, and instead of being 10-9 right now, they're probably 13 wins, I would say. Which, like, I think that's modest. I mean, that's 13-6. I think they'd beat Marquette. I think they'd beat OU. I think they'd beat KU.
Yeah.
With that. Maybe even
TCU. Give us our players back and we beat Texas at home.
Honestly, maybe. We might have. I mean, I'm trying to be fair with that, but, that's just not reality. Like, Carlton Lingardi's seeing more minutes right now.
Necessity.
Honestly, Davion is staring right in the face getting benched. And
it's a miracle it hasn't happened already. And
yeah,
I hate being this negative.
I do too.
Because I don't hate the way I talk on the podcast. Like, oh, I hate Davion Bradford. I don't. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Davion seems like a great guy.
He seems like a great guy.
Had a great season last year. And I was really looking forward to seeing what he had this year, but he's faced a lot of hardship with pneumonia and injury, and just hasn't recovered the way that we hoped. And it sucks because he was going to be a major factor on this team's success, and that plays the other side of the coin as well. I mean, like, it also, when he wasn't able to perform the way that we needed, like, that plays into the failure. So it's tough to pin it all on a guy because it's more than just a guy, but, not just Davion, but the post players in general. Like, that's one of the key reasons that this team has struggled as much as it has, with other than coaching, I would say. Coaching, I think, is the chief culprit above everything else right now. The guard play has been fairly solid, consistent throughout the entire season, honestly. I don't have a ton of complaints when you have guys like Nigel, Marquise, Mark Smith. Mike could be more consistent. I like to see him make a larger impact with the role that he has. And then Celta Miguel, his offensive struggles have really been unfortunate because at the beginning of the year, it looked like he was coming out of a shell offensively. He was finally developing the outside shot that he just had to add to his game to make him a truly ferocious threat offensively. And he just kind of shied away. Yeah, he shied away from it, and he's gotten back to like what he has been doing. I mean, he's not shooting a very good percentage this year at all. I'm gonna check his season percentage. Yeah, he's shooting. Honestly, well, it's an improvement from last year, but 38.6% from the field.
It's still not good.
And it's still bad, yeah. Especially for a guy getting the shots that he gets, which he's driving to the bucket and trying to get layups, floaters, just like short shots. Like he's playing the short game. He's not taking a lot of mid-range jumpers, and he's
not making the Marquise Noel shots.
Yeah, he's only taking 1.7 3-point shots per game. He has not made a 3-point shot since December 21st against McNeese State, and he made 2. And there's a game before that he made 1 against Nebraska, but since then it's been 0 for 1 against OU, 0 for 2 against Texas, didn't attempt any against West Virginia or TCU, 0 for 2 against Texas Tech, 0 for 1 against Texas, 0 for 4 against KU, missed another one against Baylor. So the 3-point shot has not developed with Selton, at least not this season. Hopefully it has a chance, but I mean, last year he shot 22.5% from 3. This year it's 22.6. I mean, it's effectively the same. Like, that's pretty awful. That's horrific. And he's taking fewer threes this year as well. He took over 3 a game last year. This year it's 1.7. And it's unfortunately it's not developing the way that we'd hoped. He hasn't taken that next step forward as an offensive player. He is rebounding at a better clip. He is not turning the ball over as much. He is somehow an improved defender, which he last year was the best defender on the team. And this year he's only gotten better. And he's an elite on-ball defender, which is always going to be his calling card, but it really sucks. That, and he also got injured in this game. I can't believe I haven't brought that up yet. He hurt his ankle. Mm-hmm. And
he got injured, and he got teed and then injured.
Yeah, that's
wonderful.
That's a rough game.
I'm sorry, Selton. You deserve better, man.
He does. Shame. Could happen to anybody.
Could happen to anybody.
But no. I'm tired of being depressed about the men's team, so let's be depressed about the women's team.
And we have to talk about the men play next.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know. You have to pull up the schedule.
Oh, they're playing Ole Miss on Saturday in the Big 12 SEC Challenge.
All right. You see, we've labeled a lot of games as must-wins this season. I don't even think this is a must-win. Our season is dead. Like, yeah. I hate being a doomer, but like, I am Connor can tell you I am pessimistic, but I'm very rarely a genuine doomer.
Yeah.
This is probably the most doomer I've been about a team since the 2020 football team after like West Virginia.
Yeah.
This I can't summon myself to care anymore. Yeah. Which is almost worse than being angry or disappointed.
Yeah, the Baylor game I watched sparingly on my phone. And that's like the first time I haven't like set time aside to like watch a K-State basketball game in a while. I mean, I am a broken fan when it comes to men's basketball right now.
Yeah, it's bad enough to where we look at each other and we say, hey, Batcats are coming up. It's like, ooh, Batcats. Like, there's another sport going on right now. There's another men's sport.
Before I forget, Batcats, if you're in Manhattan, they have open scrimmages this weekend. Because I will totally forget this at the end of the episode. They are at 10 a.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. on Sunday. They are open. They are free. If you want to watch the Batcats before the Batcat season actually starts.
We will probably be there.
If I am awake, I will be there.
I will be there.
I cannot guarantee.
We're not a draw.
I cannot guarantee my awakeness.
Again, we're not a draw, but again, if you're
come watch Batcats.
Yeah, come watch Batcats. If you're worried about having someone to go watch with, we'll be there.
No.
You can come up to us. Connor won't bite you.
I will not. I trained that out of myself a while ago.
I make no promises.
All right.
But next up is the women's catsketball team, which was the big story of this last weekend, specifically Ioka Lee, because Ioka Lee, alongside being the most dominant force on the team, is almost always the biggest story on the team. And it's kind of the same way even when we lose, because we lost to Texas, number 9 in the nation, Texas, in Austin, Texas. I think we still have a home game against them this year.
Yes, we do.
So obviously show up for that one. Show up against what will likely be still ranked K-State team, unless we do what we did against Iowa State. We lose against the top 10 ranked team and get banished down to the 50s, which would be a shame. But
I hope not.
I hope not. The women's catsketball team unfortunately fell to the Texas Longhorns 66-48. And Connor is here for you with stats.
Yeah, despite the unfortunate ending, K-State's Ioka Lee, she still did have a good game. She had 20 points and 11 rebounds, only 1 turnover. She had 2 blocks and a steal.
And double-double again.
Yeah, another double-double for Ioka Lee. 9 of 20 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Unable to watch this game because Longhorn Network is the worst creation mankind has ever put forward. Yeah. But based off everything I heard, it sounded like Ioka Lee was getting hacked basically the entire game and didn't really get the calls.
And the Longhorn Network was, bullying K-State because, again, I'm pretty sure Robert J. Oppenheimer would regret making the Longhorn Network more than he would regret making the nuclear bomb.
I think that's fair. I think that he would almost certainly think that.
Now I am become death, maker of the Longhorn Network.
But yeah, that and Texas plays a very physical brand of basketball, which doesn't travel very well. They normally play really tight games on the road, but at home they generally get some home cooking, and they will pressure you really hard, but they aren't really going to get called for a ton of fouls on that. Which, it's just one of those teams, especially when you have a very young lineup, you're going to really struggle to get around pressure like that. So, a lot of turnovers from the Cats. Serena Sundell had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 turnovers, and 4 steals. 3 of 8 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3. 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Emily Everett went 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and a steal. 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3-point range, and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Jalen Glenn and Briley Glenn had 4 and 2 points respectively. They each had 4 fouls. They each had 3 rebounds as well. Jalen had 1 assist, no turnovers, and a steal. Briley had 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. But they were both inefficient from the field. Jalen going 2 of 8 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Briley 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3. Jada Moore played 10 minutes, had 1 point. Simone Goodrich 9 minutes, had 1 point. Simone Goodrich also had 3 turnovers, a steal, an assist, a rebound, a foul. Jada Moore, very similar stat line, except 1 less assist, 1 fewer turnover. And then Laura Mackey played 20 minutes and not attempt a shot. 1 rebound, no assist, 1 turnover, and a steal. Dollinger, 7 minutes, 1 rebound. And Lauterbach played 1 minute at the end of the game and missed a shot. So, the story of the day, again, was poor shooting. They only attempted 6 3-point shots this entire game. They made one of them.
For 6.
They made one of them. They only had 49 shots for the entire game, and they made 17 for 34.7%. They shot 76.5 from the line, 13 of 17, but they just weren't able to figure out shooting, honestly. Especially this first quarter, they only had 4 points compared to 12 for Texas. It's tough to dig yourself out of a hole like that. And they only won 1 quarter. That was the third quarter, 17-16. And this was just a tough game from start to finish, it seemed like, from following the stats, because I don't have the Longhorn Network. So, but yeah, the Cats drop a tough one on the road to the Longhorns. Looking at...
And a bench player dropped 16.
Yeah, they did. A bench player dropped 16, go 8 of 9 from the field with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 3 steals.
All right. Go off.
I guess so. Texas, they shot 48% from the field, 33% from 3, 53% from the free throw line. So, and then the Cats, ultimately, they had 9 assists to 19 turnovers, whereas Texas was a bit more even. They had 14 assists to 15 turnovers. They only had 13 fouls as a team as well, despite the brand of basketball they play. So, tough loss for the women's basket Cats. And
Catsketball.
Yeah, I forgot that word halfway through that sentence.
It's
Catsketball.
Okay. I mean, we switch. Well, we don't switch, but the internet switches between women's catsketball and the midi cats.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't think we've done that.
I've never really subscribed to midi cats. I'm a women's catsketball kind of guy.
I'm a truther. The women's catsketball enjoyer.
I am the Chad. Women's catsketball enjoyer. But yeah, tough loss for Jeff Mitty and the Wildcats. Not a whole lot to say about it just because I couldn't watch it, and I hate playing Texas on the road.
Same. The only thing I can say is K-State Man, who's an excellent Twitter account, also a boneless wings enjoyer, which is also, another Chad in the world.
Great guy.
Great guy. What a man. I remember seeing on Twitter, because obviously I follow him on Twitter, and he was just complaining about the referees and also the Longhorn Network the entire night. If you ever want a good laugh, follow K-State Man and just watch his Twitter feed during basketball games. It is hilarious.
Yeah. I know that he, along with others, were talking about how annoyed they were with the Longhorn Network announcers because they were talking about how they locked up Ayoka Lee and how she wasn't a factor. Yet she was the high scorer in the entire game with 20 points as well.
They might be stupid.
Yeah, as well as the high rebounder with 11 rebounds. So, I don't know. I guess holding Ayoka Lee to only 20 points when she averages 25, I guess that's a victory.
I would actually consider that a victory.
Yeah, I guess
just because
you can.
Yoki just dropped 61.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that holding her to a non-factor, but you can consider it a small victory if you want. If the actual dub isn't enough for you, I guess. But
moral victories when you get the dub. Sick.
Go for it, Texas.
Go for it. Everyone else, everywhere on Earth bullies you, so I guess take whatever you want. We're going to keep bullying you.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else to add to this just because I just don't have much context for what actually happened during this game, other than just kind of following the stat track and seeing the game just kind of slip out of our hands.
Yeah, we scored 4 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, that says a lot. So, 2 of 13 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3 in that first quarter. Based on the stat line, I think a lot of what happened this game was trying to get the ball to Yoki and not happening.
Which you'll have games that happens. That's what happened against Tech.
Yeah, especially if we're going to go cold from 3. I mean, Emily Ebert made the only 3-point shot for us. We need the Glenn twins and Sundell and Dollinger to be able to consistently hit threes for this team to succeed. So, yeah, going 1 for 6 from 3 we 1 of 6 from 3. That's not going to be sustainable, especially when it comes time for the NCAA tournament and down the stretch in Big 12 play.
Yeah.
So.
But speaking of down the stretch in Big 12 play, the women's catsketball team plays in Manhattan, Kansas at Bramlage Coliseum against the TCU Horned Frogs at 6:30 this Saturday. It is Junior Wildcats Club Day.
Cool.
So
if you have some Junior Wildcats, it's their day.
It's their day.
I'm not one. I was when I was younger.
I wasn't.
You were a Mizzou fan.
True.
Did they have Junior Tigers?
I didn't live in Columbia.
Oh, tough.
I was a part of the Blue Crew, which was the Royals thing that they had.
Then Pitt State had the Bleacher Creatures, right?
True. That was... I moved here when I was 12, so...
Oh, that was past your time.
Yeah, a little bit past my time.
I did that one time, I think. But...
Personal lives.
But, yeah.
But just because we've gone over the games does not mean that we're done with the news for the women's basketball team. Oh, no. We have quite the big bit of news to go over because as it stands right now, yeah, I know the website is not necessarily intuitive sometimes when you want to click off of something.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, your Kansas State women's basketball team checks in at number 16 in the women's top. They're a top 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't know why I'm getting 87 notifications, but I guess I am getting them. But yeah, number 16 in the NCAA tournament reveal. And that would place us... I'm seeing conflicting sources on it because some people are saying that it's going to be the Greensboro bracket, but Nathan and Sarah is saying that it would be the Wichita bracket, which would basically means we host it.
I would prefer...
I'd prefer the latter.
It makes a ton of geographic sense. I would absolutely go. If we won our first 2 games in Bramlage when we host, I would 100% go to Wichita to watch some women's basketball in the postseason. There's no doubt in my mind. I think that'd be awesome. So, yeah, they come in at number 16 as one of those top 16 seeds. That puts them at a 4 for the actual tournament. I'm not sure who we're included in terms of pods. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I mean I think they earned that. I'm sure they're gonna drop out now because this I'm assuming was
ratio plus you fell off.
Yeah, because I'm assuming this was determined prior to the loss against Texas, but
made me sick if we were still 16 even after losing.
Yeah. I know that we're gonna drop in the AP poll. From 25 to 100th or something like that.
Worst team in the nation.
Because we lost a top 10 road game. So, I mean, we're pretty bad, honestly.
Honestly, I don't know why we talk about them.
Yeah, shouldn't.
Shame.
But
we're a Batcats podcast now.
This is a Batcats podcast. It's Batcat season.
It's all about the Batcats, baby. We love the Batcats. Let's go Batcats.
Let's go Batcats. But the women, yeah, they're a top 16 seed, and that's pretty great. Because I don't think the men have ever been in that category, at least as far as I know. At least not since they started doing this mid-season release weekly of who the top seeds are. Because that's a pretty recent thing, and the women getting to do that, that's especially relevant just because of the factor of getting to host the first 2 rounds of the tournament. And when that's the case, you get such a massive advantage. And it's great because you get a few more games to host at home, and the fan base gets to come out, and then you don't have to travel.
Yeah.
Is one of the big things from that.
And
so hopefully it holds.
And the way that the fan base has actually been showing out for some of the most recent women's basketball games, that's really encouraging.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy because if there's one team, we're not going to spend like 20 minutes on this because we've done it before. But if there's one team that deserves basically all of K-State right behind it, it's the women's basketball team.
Yeah, I would say that, especially right now. They've absolutely earned it. I mean, almost all of their losses this year have been teams ranked in this top 16 seeding, and they've also defeated teams that are in that top 16. Because, I mean, they've lost to South Carolina, NC State, Iowa State, Texas. Texas Tech is the lone exception to that, and that's all 5 of their losses. And then they have a win over OU, who I believe is in this top 16.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that speaks for itself.
They didn't beat OU. They boat raced OU.
Absolutely destroyed OU. So I would like, I don't see a list. Here it is.
I found it.
They also beat Oregon, who is in the top 16. So that's 2. And Baylor. I forgot about Baylor. So that's 3 wins over top 16 seeds right now.
And Texas is 7, so we wouldn't slide down that far.
Yeah. South Carolina 1, NC State 3, Texas 7, and then Iowa State 10. That's all top 10 teams. And then we have wins over, 14 and then 13. My mind is blanked.
14, 13, and then Oklahoma.
Oh, they dropped out. Yeah, so. But, yeah, it's pretty great stuff that the women's basketball are doing right now. And if you have time, you should go support them because... And the tickets are not prohibitively expensive. So
they had a promo, I'm pretty sure it's over now, where you could get tickets for $1.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well done now. But you know,
it's like
regardless of it's like $5.
It's like $5
and it's worth it. General admission. Like, come out, watch Ayoka Lee be really good. You know, it is a worthwhile way of spending a weekend.
And watch Serena Sundell quietly get more minutes than Ayoka Lee. Yeah. Just quietly.
Yeah, they have a favorable matchup against TCU coming up, so that'll be nice. And they have the revenge game against Texas Tech coming up on February 5th, which will be the following Saturday from now. Then they'll go a little while without a home game. Then they'll have back-to-backs. And then they'll wrap up their home slate with West Virginia all the way down in March. That's looking out a ways, but you still have 5 opportunities pending an NCAA tournament host by the Wildcats to watch Ayoka Lee this season because she will be back next year.
Which was apparently treated as like a big media, it was treated like a big deal on Twitter. We knew that.
Yeah, we already knew that. I was surprised that so many people didn't know about that already.
Because it was wasn't it confirmed before the season started?
It was fairly recent, I thought. I think it was just that a lot of the big J's were covering the team back then, and now they are, and they didn't know.
We knew from the beginning of the season, because we've been saying it on the pod. It was Ayoka Lee's coming back. So
I'm not sure why there was much of a question of it. Just because WNBA money isn't crazy or anything. It's not really even that great. But
what, 50, 60?
Yeah, something like that. It's nothing to sniff at, especially given
I'd take it.
Given the length of the season, it's only 3 months, so that's not bad at all. They play most of their time in Europe. Actually, I didn't know that until recently. They spend a lot of time playing in Europe in the off season. That's where they get most of their money. That and then also Ayoka Lee, NIL. Someone give her some money. She can get more money from NIL than the WNBA. So.
Plus her degree. Her degree's in psychology.
Yeah, and her degree.
So she would actually probably make more money as a psychologist.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's also very sad, but it's also true.
Ayoka Lee, Psychologist of the Year.
Ayoka Lee, Psychologist of the Year.
But, yeah, as the computer decides it wants to try and take off like a jet engine, it just does that sometimes.
Yeah, I was doing that before we got started, and I was very concerned because it just kept going.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
No. Oh, well.
It's only dealing with the video, so it's not a big deal. But that pretty well wraps up all that we wanted to say. Thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats. If you want to reach out to the show, on Twitter, we are Aggieville Alleycats. That's capital A, and capital C in cats. If you want to email us, we are AggievilleAlleycats@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to us on a more personal note, I am at ACEdwards00 on Twitter.
I am at Connor Baltazar, capital C, capital B.
If you're looking to support the show financially, please go ahead and check out our merch store where you can find such designs as Play Sandstorm Cowards and Neon Alleycats. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.